doctor, and I was talking to her about some of the issues I've been having, and she referred me to you.
And why did she refer you?
She thinks that I might have anxiety.
Describe to me why she thinks this.
Well, sometimes I get worked up for no reason, and I start panicking, sweating, shaking, feel like I can't catch my breath, all that kind of stuff.
So when do you typically feel these feelings taking place?
Usually if there's a lot going on in my life that has me stressed out, or if things are not going how I planned, or if I get a grade that's not good enough, things like that, usually called it.
Well, I'm glad you've decided to come see me. I would love to work with you and get to the bottom of this to get you some relief. When did you notice that these problems started to occur?
I first noticed them about 3 months ago after my grandma passed away.
I'm so sorry to hear about her passing. Were you close to your grandmother?
Yeah, I saw her just about every day. She was definitely one of my best friends.
I know that must be difficult.
Yeah, I miss her a lot.
It's often hard to deal with the passing of a loved one, especially when you're close to them. As time goes on, it will become easier, but I'm concerned with the difficulties that you're having and that may be stemming from this. Would you be comfortable coming on a regular basis to sort through these feelings of loss and hopefully get to the bottom of these anxious feelings?
Yeah, I would really appreciate your help. I don't want to feel like this, and I know that she has passed and she's in a better place, so I don't really know why I'm having these kind of issues because of it.
Well, there can be many reasons. It's likely that you simply have not dealt with the emotions that come with your daily life. When your grandmother first passed away, how did you react? Did you isolate yourself, or were you involved with your family and friends?
I definitely isolated myself. I did not want to deal with the fact that she passed away, and so I kind of cut everybody out.
What did you spend most of your time doing after her passing?
I would pretty much lock myself in my room. I would read, I would listen to music, watch TV, anything to avoid people.
Would you say that you had a hard time facing the fact that she was gone?
Yeah, for a little while, I just didn't really want to admit it to myself because I had seen her every day. I didn't even go to her funeral because I just didn't want it to be true.
I see. Do you regret not going to her funeral?
I do. I feel really bad about not being there to support my other family members. I know it was really selfish, but I didn't know how to face everyone. Now everyone seems very upset with me, like I was wrong and that I hurt them for not going.
So you feel like you disappointed your family because you didn't feel like you could handle the situation?
Yeah, I especially feel like I let my grandpa down.
I see. So what do you want to come out of coming to sessions with me? What would be your ultimate goal?
I would love to be able to go to school and work and not feel as though I'm letting myself and my family down. And I just really don't want to feel this anxiety anymore.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to be helping you with this. Let's meet every Wednesday for the next 4 weeks or so, and we'll see what kind of progress we're making. During this time, we will help you work through the loss of your grandmother, but most importantly, we'll regain that self-esteem that you're not feeling anxious through the day. It's so good to see you again. How are you feeling this week?
I felt pretty good. I still get anxious for no good reason, but I've been able to think about what we talked about and how my regrets with my grandma and missing her have impacted these thoughts.
That's great. We'll definitely keep working through all of these things and wrapping your head around it. Last week we talked briefly about what's been going on that might be leading you to feel these anxious thoughts and feelings that you're having. How have you been about being anxious this week?
I've been anxious a few times, but it's usually caused by the things we discussed last time.
Okay, and what took place during the week that made you feel anxious?
The biggest thing was this test that I had on Monday, and the days before I was studying, trying to make sure I knew all the material, and I just felt really overwhelmed with everything at that time.
Okay, and what happened when you felt anxious this week?
I felt like I couldn't breathe and I couldn't move, and I just got really overwhelmed, and I couldn't do anything about it, so I just had to stop and pause and let everything pass.
Okay, so you felt as if you just kind of shut down and had to wait it out because you couldn't change anything about that moment. I'd like to spend this session going over some deep breathing techniques. These are things that you can do throughout the day when those anxious thoughts come on. Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing I would like you to do is just sit back and relax. Put both feet flat on the floor. Now close your eyes. Good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to count to 5 while you breathe in, and then I'll count to 7 while you breathe out. While we do this, try and focus on yourself, your toes, your knees, your fingers, your shoulders. Forget about everything else and focus on your mind and your body. Okay?
Okay.
Good. Let's begin. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. Now breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. And breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very good. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. How do you feel?
I feel more relaxed.
Great. What's on your mind right now?
Not really anything. I'm pretty calm, kind of sleepy.
That's great. Instead of thinking about the thoughts that cause you to worry and get anxious when they do begin to come up, I'd like you to try and just focus on your breathing, shut everything else out, and you can count on your own, but just try and focus on the here and now.
All right, I'll definitely try that.
Great. We'll discuss this more next Wednesday during your next session. How was your week?
It was actually very good.
That's great to hear. Last session we talked about breathing and getting out of your head when those anxious thoughts occur. Did you try that breathing technique throughout the week?
I did a few times, but I didn't really have a stressful week in comparison to previous weeks, so I didn't have to do it much.
Well, that's good. Some weeks will be more difficult than others. When you did use those deep breathing techniques, did it seem to help at all?
It did seem to help. It helped a lot, actually.
I'm glad to hear that it gave you some relief. In times of anxious thoughts, anything you can do to get your mind away from those thoughts and back on reality should really help you function more throughout the day with ease. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about your grandmother and your family, if that's okay.
Okay.
Would you say that you have a supportive family?
Well, I'm very close to my family, and I do feel like sometimes my parents aren't the most supportive. It's not that they're not really supportive, it's just more like I know they care, they want the best for me, and they want me to work hard, but they expect so much from me that it seems like I just can't really do it all.
So you feel like you're unable to fulfill all of the expectations that your family has for you all the time?
Yeah.
So when your grandmother passed, did you talk to your parents at all about the difficult time that you were having?
I did not.
And why is that?
I didn't really want to seem selfish. It was my mom's mom, and so I knew that she was also hurting, and I didn't really want to burden her with my hard times.
Okay, this is not an uncommon feeling. What do you think your mother would have done if she knew that you weren't dealing well with the situation?
She probably would have talked to me about it and spent time with me, but I didn't really want to deal with people, and I didn't want to make her feel like I wanted the attention while she was also going through this herself.
Okay. Do you feel like you couldn't tell her?
Not really. It was more like I just didn't feel like I had the right to tell her that.
Okay. Sometimes it can be hard to open up when you feel like someone else is hurting just as much, or if not more.
Mm-hmm.
Even though some time has passed, speaking with loved ones about this struggle could be very beneficial to you coping with the passing.
Mm-hmm. Do you think I should talk to my mom about how I'm feeling about this?
That's completely up to you. I do think that getting it out there in the open would be helpful for your healing.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that if you're close with your parents like you are, her knowing this could give you the support that you need to walk through it and overcome it, and her stand by you through it.
Mm-hmm. I would like that. I wanted to talk to her about it, but I just keep holding myself back. So how would you suggest that I do it?
I would suggest just being open with her. Let her know how you're feeling and how you can, how the situation has affected you. And I'm sure she would greatly appreciate your honesty, and she'd like to stand by you through this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to by any means, but we can give it time and work up to it if you'd like.
I'd like to talk to her. I think I'm going to talk to her tonight when I get home.
Okay.